Today I'm going to talk about my favorite game mechanism in The Expanse, which is based on a book and TV series that I really love, and a designer who I really admire, Jeff Engelstein. But before I get there, you may have noticed that I have a new thumbnail or representative image on this video, and a peer of mine, Ed Baraf, who also has a YouTube channel, I'll link to it below, he recommended that I add this image to my videos. And I thought it was a great idea, so I did. So thank you, Ed, for that recommendation. And I wanted to thank Dave Hewer, one of our graphic designers, for creating this image and a similar image that I'll be using for different types of videos, like my crowdfunding videos and any Stonemaier-related videos that I launch. That one will have a unique header as well. I'll link to Dave's website below as well. Dave has been really helpful with that. For The Expanse, my favorite game mechanism, this game is kind of based on the mechanisms of Twilight Struggle, one of the top-rated games of all time. I have a video about that as well. And but it has 4 factions, as is pretty much the case in the broader Expanse universe, instead of just 2. So it's a 4-player game instead of 2, which is really interesting. There's and both games, you'll recognize this mechanism from Twilight Struggle, but I really like how it works with more than 2 players here. It has that mechanism where on your turn you're taking a card, and in The Expanse you're taking it from a card river instead of from your hand. And the card can trigger an event. If you don't take the event, it can trigger an event for one of the other factions. They get to choose that they want to do it, but it'll affect their turn order. Or you get action points that you can spend to do stuff on your turn. So if you take the action point, someone else might take the event, or you can take the event yourself and prevent someone else from doing it, which in itself is a very interesting decision. Same thing in Twilight Struggle. Another thing in Twilight Struggle that this game has that I really like, and this is my favorite game mechanism, I think, because there's a lot of good stuff in this game, is the scoring card. So you have this card river, and every now and then a scoring card will show up, and if a player selects that card, then players will score. And this creates some really interesting decisions. The base level is that if you choose a scoring card, you are not choosing an action card. So even though you're initiating the scoring phase, you are not helping your own situation. You're not making it any better. You're not taking an action. You're not using action points. You're not using an event. So that in itself is a very interesting decision because it's all about timing. Is now the best time for me to score? If I put myself in a position where it's a good time to score, and if I don't take it, in the hopes of improving my position, is the next player going to take it? Because if the next player takes it, then that's great because I've just improved my position, they're going to take it. But what if they don't take it? What if the next player doesn't take it? And because it's 4 players, or up to 4 players, it can go around the table and people can have completely changed the board and the scoring tile can come all the way back around to you. Now, Jeff did a really clever thing with this mechanism in that the player who does take the scoring tile gets to choose one region of the board to score kind of better than the other regions. I think the term is used bonus scoring. It's not really a bonus, it's just a different scoring method that's better than the other scoring methods. And so the player who chooses the scoring card does have a heads up there. So if they've really established control of one area of the board, they might choose that scoring tile just because that area of the board is primed for that enhanced scoring. I really like that. And really just, I mentioned before, the timing of it is really interesting. Do I choose something now to improve my position, or do I score? And actually, the one last thing is, you know that I love games without rounds, and this game doesn't have rounds because it's just this fluid card river. Everything is based off that card river. And you could a scoring card could come up and no one could take it, and that card could just sit there at the top of the river until another scoring card comes up, and even another. They could just sit there for quite a while if you want. I doubt that happens all that often, but it did happen in our game where we had 2 at the same time at one point. So I really like that nice flow of the game, that it's constantly flowing. You're not taking a break to do a round. It's just flowing from one turn to the other, organically scoring when players decide it's good for them to score. Really love this mechanism. If you have a favorite mechanism in The Expanse or another mechanism in a game where players get to choose when they score, and that adds some interesting decisions to the game, I'd love to hear about that in the comments. Thanks.